We all know that React is a single page application. And in that case, when a user is accessing a single page application, sometimes because we're so much, used to seeing URL changes in the browser, when the URL doesn't change, it becomes difficult to, share something or, to remember on what particular page URL, I saw something, right? So URLs are pretty important. And that is something that even React developers realized. And since the beginning of React, I would say since 2014, there's a library called React Router DOM, which is providing the support of handling routing in case of React single page applications. And that is what we will learn in this particular video. Yes, now there is a new version of React Router DOM available, which is the version 6.4. And there are, several changes like the support for data API, where you can set loaders, action, fetchers, etc. while creating your browser router, and there are certain functions available to do so. We will follow the more easier approach, where we will follow the component based approach of using browser router, routes, route, etc. So don't get confused by what I'm saying, just follow the video. So let's get started, and I will share with you the easiest way to use or to start using browser routing, using the React Router DOM library in your React applications. So let's start. So as you can see on the screen, I have nothing but, a basic simple application like we always start with. Now what we intend to do is, we want to create a simple 3-page application, which will act as a, portfolio application. It will have a home page, and then it will have a page for projects where all the projects will be displayed. And the URL for this will be obviously, the home page, which is represented by /, and the URL for this will be /projects. And we will have one contact page so that, people watching your portfolio can even contact you, right? And this will be available on the contact URL. So this is what we intend to do, and we will also learn about a couple of other things that React Router DOM provides us. So let's start. So the first thing that we need to do is install the React Router DOM library or package, because this is not inbuilt in React, so we have to install it. So let's open another ZSH or your terminal window, and you can simply use this command npm install React Router -DOM. So React -Router -DOM, press enter, and this will be installed in a couple of seconds. So it's installed for us, and now we can start using this. So let's import a couple of things, a couple of components that we will be using in our application to set the routing for the application. Let me write import from React Router DOM. So I'm seeing this in session because I just now installed it. And what we want to import in our main application, I would want the browser router. I would want the routes and route. Yeah, so these 3 things. I'll talk about all these things in a while. I just wanted to point out that, with the version 6.4, which is the latest, it is also recommended by React Router DOM, a team, that we do not, even create this app.js, because this browser router acts as the main root component of the React application. If you are using React Router DOM to, sort of control the entire routing of your application, so this can also act as your root component. So it is advised now that, you keep every code or, the browser router creation, which is like the root from where all the routing starts of your application, you should keep this out of the React tree. So now, starting from the React Router DOM version 6.4, it is advised that, in this index.js, where we have this, we are creating this root element, setting the React root. Instead of calling this app, I should, start from here only. I should call this browser router, and inside there I should define all the routes and the home. But let's not do that, because that might be confusing. I will definitely create another video to explain all the changes that are there in version 6.4. But yes, let's start with the simple stuff first. So what I'll do is I'll quickly just remove this, and inside over here I'll use the browser router component, and that's how you do it. So this will hold the primary code for our application, all the routes, everything, and the base component as well. So what we do now is inside of this, we use the routes JS export, we provide this, and inside this we use route. Now this route will have all the routes mentioned, right? And we can use the path attribute to provide the path. So for example, let's say slash, and in this I can also use another property, which is the element, to provide the component name. So how this is working is that we are defining several routes. So this routes defines a collection of route, nothing but a collection of routes for our application. And in this route we can define, so we can have multiple route inside of routes to define different paths, and associated with that path which component should be rendered. So over here we define, okay, for the path home, which is the slash, in element property we have to provide the name of the component that should be loaded. Similarly, I can have slash something else and have other element specified another component that I want to load. So what I do over here is I will provide, let's say, a component home. So I'll create a separate component. So this app component right now is acting just as the main routing mechanism for our application. So I'm having home over here. Obviously it will give us error because we don't have this home component right now. So let's quickly do that first. So in the source, what I'll do is I'll create a new folder, and I'll name this pages, and I'll create new file, home.js. I'll create 3 files. So one is projects.js because I am creating a simple portfolio website, and contact.js. So this will be very basic just to show you how routing works, but I will create another video just after this video and will share with you guys in which I'll create a simple portfolio application or portfolio website using routing, and I will add a CSS as well so that it looks nice and you can also use it as your personal project, right? Okay, so we have 3 components now. Let's quickly add simple stuff to these. React, I want to export this as well as default. So I have this set. Let's just add this is the home page. Okay, so in projects, again I will again create again a basic exported functional component. These are my projects. In contact, again we do the same thing. So this is a shortcut that you can get RAFC and all that exported in or not. And I think this one was not exported. Okay, I want exported by default. These are my projects. You can contact me for anything. Alright, so now we have 3 components ready. One is contact.js, projects.js, and home.js. Let's close these files and just import them in the app.js. So we will import home from .pages home.js. Let me just copy paste this. Projects from projects. Was it projects or project? Projects. Okay. Right. Contact from contact. All right. So we have all the 3 components now imported, and what we will do is we will add the different routes to start using all the imported projects that we have. All the imported components that we have. So I will have this projects path for the projects component and contact for contact. Okay, so now we have specified 3 routes. One is the slash, which is the home right now. So this is the default path. As you can see, when I hit the default path, I'm seeing this is the home page. This is the home component that we created. If you want to see, we can change something over there. Let's make it bold. just to show you that, this is what we are referring to. So this is the home page, right? So this component is getting loaded as the home base URL, right? Now, if I change the URL to projects, I can, expand this so that you guys can see it correctly. Expand this too. So if I have changed this, URL to projects, I hit enter, I get these are my projects. Similarly, if I change this to contact, I get you can contact me for anything. So different components are getting loaded, just like, we mentioned while creating our browser router. Now, like I mentioned, this browser router is sort of representing your entire application. And right now what is happening is, so this is the home for our application. If you want, for example, in some cases, there are situations where you want to run your React application on this /app, URL. So you can also use that. So if I provide, so there's a property base name that you can use to provide the base URLs. So if I provide /app as the base URL, now this home will be available on the URL /app, and because this is slash, so on this URL, this home will be available on /app/projects. We will have this projects component, and similarly for contact also, the URL will be changed. So let's see that. So now if I click on this, I did not save, sorry. So let me save this. Yes, so now as you can see on /app, I'm getting the home page, and for projects, I'll have to go to /app/projects, and for this, contact, I get this. So using the base name property, you can even change the base URL for your application. Now these routes hold all the URLs, all the route that our application support. But before this, you can even provide any JSX code. This is my portfolio. And you can have a static section above the routing component. So what is happening over here is, this is the whole application, which is being represented right now as the browser router or the main app.js, inside of which we are loading, different components based on the URLs. So what is happening over here is, this section will be fixed. This section is fixed because this is available in the app main root component. And as the route changes, other, components are getting loaded. So right now, when we are at home, did I save it? Let me just change this, remove this base name. So as you can see, this is my portfolio and this is the home page. Now, if I add the profile projects route, this stays the same, but below this, the new component gets loaded, which is the projects component. Similarly, if I say contact, I get this over here. So this is how you can control your layout in your application. Either you can change, or you can control the entire layout, and you can say, okay, the entire user interface will be controlled or loaded using the dynamic components which are created or displayed using the route. Or you can have a fixed section as well. So maybe you want to have a navigation bar. So you can create that in your main root component, and keep the below user interface can keep on changing using the different components based on the routing. Right now, if you want to have certain links associated with all these routes so that you can access them. So right now what we are doing is we are changing the URL directly, but that's not how you should do it, right? So what we can do is we can either have anchor tags, ahref, let's say /projects, and go to projects, right? So if I save this, I get go to projects. If I click on this, I come to these are my projects. But what is happening with anchor tag is, you can see the page loads, right? Page is loading, and then we are coming to projects. So this is not what React app is supposed to do. React app should be loaded, and just the component that I want to change based on the route should be updated rather than page getting refreshed. So in React router DOM, we get a link component that we can use to provide different links so that we can access different routes and components. So if I say com projects and contact, right? Now I should be having, so okay, this is giving error because I have to use the to property to provide the path. Okay, and we have also to import the link. Right. So now we have a couple of links, and yeah, these are working as well. So what we did was we used the link component over here. We imported it, and we used the to property to assign the path to which we want to link these texts to. I can have a simple MBSP to add some space. We can also use styling for this, just for now, to showcase that these are slightly away from each other. I'm using this, and let me add a simple BR. I know this is very simple, but just to showcase, right? So now I have 3 links over here, and as I will click use projects, these are my projects. Contact, these are, you can contact me for anything. Home. Now the component that is getting loaded, which is loading the content, is getting changed, right? And this above section, as you can see, is still the same because this is the part of the browser router, and this stays the same. The routes defines the route, to load dynamic components, which we are able to do over here, right? Link is used to link to these different routes. You can use ahref, but no, in React you should not, because if I'm clicking on this, as you can see, the page is not getting loaded, but still the React user interface is getting updated. The components are getting changed. So that's how basically React Router DOM works. There are a couple of more things like, the history is automatically handled. So back page is automatically handled by React Router DOM. So if I click on back, it will follow the same path, just like we used to access the different pages. So if we do that, we open contact and then we open projects. If I go back, I'll be automatically going to contact. So this history is also maintained internally by React Router DOM. We don't have to do anything specific for this. Now there's one more thing. So if you guys know that, I just talked about that we cannot use ahref because that will reload the page, and we don't want to do that. But there are some cases. So this link will provide or create a basic user interface showing the URLs or showing the links that are clickable or tappable, and using which the user can navigate across the React web application. But there are some instances where we want to do this programmatically. Basically, some form submission happens, and then we want to redirect the user to some, let's say, welcome page. So consider, I have a sign up page on which the user signs up, and then after successful sign up, I want to redirect the user internally to welcome. After storing the data that the user provided during sign up into the database, I want to redirect the user to the welcome page. Now I cannot use this link obviously in that case. So for those cases, we have a useNavigate hook provided by React Router DOM. So how we use that? Let me go to let's say contact, and here let's have, so imagine we have a contact us form, and on submission of the contact us form, we go back to the home page. Go back to home. Go to home. Right. So we have this. Let me just add an arrow, a basic arrow. So we will be having a right. So we have a go to home button. So when we click on this, we should be redirected to the home page. Now, obviously, I'm just showing you how this is done. You will say, why I'm not using link? Because this is just, showcasing you how maybe, you can have a form over here. And once the user clicks on the contact us button, you can internally process the contact us form fields and then internally redirect the user to go back to the home page. So I am just duplicating that with this button, right? So what we can do is we can import the useNavigate hook from React Router DOM, and we can use it like this. We can create a variable, let's say nav useNavigate. Okay. Now on click of this button, I add a arrow function inside which I call this nav, and I provide the path where I want to take the user. I want to take the user to the home and save. Yep, I think we're using useNavigate, and on click of this, we are sending the user using the nav function to send the user to the home page. Now this is, like I said, programmatically using JavaScript we are doing that, or, using the JavaScript code. Obviously, this is provided by React Router DOM. But we can have, the form submission. Like I said, I can have multiple input fields, and on click of this, maybe, on submit of the form, I can have the form submission, send the data to the API to send an email to your customer support with whatever query that the user has, and then redirect the user internally to the home page. So in those cases, you can use this. So if I click on this, I reach here, right? So we can also use useNavigate. Obviously, the use cases are different. This is to show links on the user interface, and this is to do it internally programmatically. Right, so this was about React Router DOM. There are other things as well, like, params that can be used in case of projects at least, or, if you have some profile page, there are cases where you have profile and then there's a username, like let's say Abhishek. And this will display the data for Abhishek. And if I have some other user, let's say Supriya, then this will showcase the user information for Supriya. So how do we do that? So this we will talk about in the next video, where I will be creating a simple portfolio project using React Router DOM. I will also create a couple of other videos, detailed videos, where I will talk about the version 6.4 features that are added. There are a lot of new things that have been added, right? Like data fetching, loader, action, and a lot of styling has been changed. I also mentioned that it is recommended not even to use a browser router inside of app.js. Instead, use it directly in the index.js over here as the root component. So we will be covering that. I'll try to come up with some good examples so that I can make it easier for you guys to understand. But yeah, so I think that's about it for a beginner introduction for React Router DOM. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope this helps you understand how React Router DOM can be used to convert your single page applications into sort of an application which looks like to have multiple pages, although it will still be internally redirecting to components. But yeah, that's about React Router DOM. If you have any queries, please do post your questions or queries or confusion in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Press the like button and also the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. I'm also starting a new series in Hindi for lead code questions, solving using JavaScript. I'm following a 30 days of JavaScript, I don't know what it is called. It is maybe a problem or, a challenge available in LeetCode, 30 days of JavaScript. So I started that, and you're posting the videos for that as well. So if you want to learn JavaScript in Hindi, follow that as well. See you in the next video then. Thank you so much for watching.